This is a pretty sad Soviet song from the Second World War. And it's a weird way to start these videos, but I think it's fitting. In a way, I think it's very fitting. Because we have to look at this thing. The Horus Heresy has ended. The End and the Death Volume 3 was out. We have the complete story. There is nothing left to do. So Games Workshop decides to pull out a book with all the art for this series, which of course is the book covers. But I, for one thing, they'll pull out those images that are in the books and make them colored, and it's going to be nice. It's going to be a nice experience. It's going to be a nice book to have to complete your Horus Heresy collection, if you are lucky enough to get all the books. There is but a problem. Now, an Artbook is a nice thing to put out. There's nothing bad to it. The problem is that Games Workshop, being Games Workshop, decides to do what they know best and make it a limited run. Oh, we gotta make it special. No. Here's the problem. There's going to be 6,500 of them, and that's it. Now, you see, this wouldn't really be a problem. It's a collector's item. It's something special. And it's a collector's item. That's the problem. I lied. It's a big problem. And mostly because Games Workshop doesn't know how to do pre-orders or normal orders. They're so focused on getting as much money as quickly as possible, they don't really see the ramifications of things. For example, most people that will buy this Artbook, much in the special edition of The End and the Death, I guess Lords of the Lances, if anybody cares. Anyway, those buyers are going to be scalpers. Most of the people that will get those books are going to be people that will try to resell it at a huge market cost. My bro, Wheezy Pillar, has a whole video on it and just exposes who does it. And Games Workshop does nothing about it. They tried a little to give you a cue, to give you a captcha, to give you some another chance at buying the special edition, but it always ended up the same way. The scalpers are always smarter than Games Workshop, and that is a big problem. Because as I said, Games Workshop is too focused on making as much money as fast as possible that they're losing way more out of this. Now, you might be wondering, well, what would be the difference? What if there wasn't scalpers? There's still the problem that there's only 6,000 of them. You see, when you make something, it's better to know what your audience is. And let's be honest, Games Workshop has a sales department. They know what people are buying. They know what sells. They know everything. And yet they put these limited releases as, quite frankly, I wouldn't be surprised, in a way to spit in the face of their customers, because why not? At the end of the day, they're making their money. And that's what's important. But making things like this so limited and not making them made to order, so you have a period of a week, let's give it a week, where just go and you buy it and you can buy how many you want at the end of the day. And then you pay for them, logically, and you get them. Made to order. That's the most perfect thing ever. That's the most perfect idea ever. You go to something, you buy it in that limited time while it's available, and then you have it. You're not restricted to only 6,000 copies, of which you probably won't get any, because Games Workshop new site is a nightmare to navigate and a nightmare to get things through, especially with the queue. And that problem is resolved. That way you also eliminate the scalpers. You make as much money as possible. More money than out of these 6,000 editions, books, whatever. And then you make more money and you make your fans happier. And this is something that's important. It seems companies don't really understand this problem, because this is an issue that Blizzard has, or had, whatever. I don't care about Blizzard. Is the fact that they don't understand what their customers want and how can that be achieved, especially when it comes to simple things. Like, nobody's asking for you to make female space marines. Nobody's asking you to make the trolls black or something like that. No, it's simple stuff. Easy accessibility to certain features, to certain things that you can purchase, that you can experience. But it never happens. Now, there's many conspiracy theories, if you want to call it a conspiracy, why this would be a thing. But at the end of the day, I am still baffled by the idea that Games Workshop, after having their site broken a few times, after hearing the complaints, because they clearly heard the complaints, there's many of them, including Games Workshop shills like Valrak, which, let's be honest, he is one. Many people complained about this, and yet their solution is to do more of that because that's what matters. Or what matters to them, making their money quick. And that is quite tragic. That is quite bad for a universe that is so vast, so well written, at times, most of the times, let's be honest, to be under the care of a company that is really trying to milk its fan base, its customers, as much as possible. Now, it's easy to point fingers. Everybody knows it's Games Workshop's fault. They should learn what a pre-order is. They should learn that these limited editions so quick and it's not the fans that get them. But you can't really change this. Like, this is the funniest thing about Games Workshop. They work in their own interest, but end up just screwing themselves over at the end. How many people will just give up on buying this because they know they can't compete with the Scalpers? At the end of the day, there's no point in it. You go there the first moment, and the first moment you go in, it's already taken. Hell, that's what happened when I looked at Bretonia. I stood there waiting for the old world to happen, and once I got through that damn queue, out of stock temporarily. Out. It was not like I was gonna buy them, because screw UPS, but still, it doesn't work when you have Scalpers running everything. Scalpers are smarter than Games Workshop, apparently, and at this point, it is what it is. There's no way to solve. Nothing really tangible that can be done. We can't really teach Games Workshop what they should do so their customers are happy. Because they don't want to listen to that. They don't care about that. There is something everybody can do, but that implies a lot of discipline and willpower, and in many cases, knowing how to save your money. And that is one simple act that technically isn't even that hard. At the end of the day, it costs you nothing and it's not a physical effort. And that's simple. Don't buy from the Scalpers. You see it on eBay, you don't touch it. Because when the Scalpers realize there's nothing they can get out of it, that there's no money in here, then they're out. And they'll be out, and then there'll be more things for people to buy. But again, limited edition numbers like that are always a bad thing. I see it as a bad thing, to be honest. Oh, but the prestige, let's be honest, nobody cares. Now, of course, this means you have to make a boycott against the Scalpers. And that's kind of hard to do once you have Games Workshop shills and people that are so desperate to spend their money on the newest shiny toy dangled in front of them that they have no backbone. Unfortunately, that is the truth, I mean. And you can argue, oh, let's make an email campaign like Arch did. But in all honesty, I don't think an email campaign is going to mess with this. Not in this case. I see some merit to it. In fact, now that I think about it better, there is some merit to an email campaign at Games Workshop regarding this. But you see, the problem is, who's going to do it? The Games Workshop shills that receive free miniatures and everything? No. That's not going to beat them. No one's going to really take the reins like Arch did back then. No. Who, me? You know what? I would be willing to do it. You know what? I might start it. There might be one in the description, if I think about it well enough. But here's the big problem. Who's gonna see this video? Who's gonna jump in on it? 2 people? 3, 5, 10, 20 if I'm lucky, since it's an interesting topic. Or maybe more. But will it count? Maybe. Maybe if enough people see this, maybe if enough people send emails and not really see this, maybe things will change. And you know what? Blackpilling is for cucks anyway. So let's try this. In the description, you will find a template of sorts to send to Games Workshop. And let's try to send an email campaign and teach them that the truth is, they're not helping their fans with these limited editions and so few numbers. So, hope I can see you on the battlefield.